marijuana possession in violation of the Controlled Substances Act. People began applying for the Investigational New Drug Program for medical marijuana. Marijuana has a bronchodilator effect because of the THC, the delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol, a drug that causes widening of the bronchial airways. For example, any of those taken by inhalation for the alleviation of asthma, for example. Marijuana versus tobacco. Tobacco contains nicotine, which is addictive. Marijuana contains THC and 60 or so compounds called cannabinoids, which activate cannabinoid receptors in the body and are responsible for the pharmacological effects of cannabis. Both marijuana and tobacco contain benzopyrene, a hydrocarbon that's highly carcinogenic, which contributes to cancer. Benzopyrene is found 50% more in marijuana smoke than tobacco smoke, which would lead one to believe there's a greater risk for cancer by smoking marijuana than smoking tobacco. But about 160,000 deaths occur a year in the U.S. from lung cancer, from tobacco. And these doctors in this film questioned, is it possible? One doctor in particular, I believe his name is Dr. Donald Tashkin. He, upon knowing that about 160,000 deaths a year in the U.S. come from lung cancer from tobacco, he questioned, is it possible that it could be the same for marijuana? And the answer is no. Results of 30 plus years of government-funded research shows no evidence of lung cancer in marijuana smoking alone. And if anything, marijuana smokers had a reduced risk for developing lung cancer, whereas tobacco smokers had a markedly increased risk. Those who smoked 2 packs a day had a 20-fold, a 2,000% increase in the risk. And those who smoked 1 or 2 packs a day had an 8-fold or 800% increase in the risk. But the marijuana had a reduced risk, so less than 0%. THC has an anti-tumoral effect. For lung, breast, thyroid, prostate, brain cancer, the growth of the tumor is suppressed by THC. THC impairs protein synthesis, is anti-mitogenic, which means that tumor cells don't readily multiply. It's anti-angiogenic, which means that it interferes with the growth and development of new blood vessels that are necessary for metastatic spread. I said it wrong. Metastatic spread within cancer. And THC is also pro-apoptotic, which diminishes the risk of cells becoming cancerous. So we have at least, there are 4 things there that works hard against cancer. And cancer is probably the worst thing that we have going on today, because pretty much everything helps to cause cancer. And, this little anecdote, put this into your life. A cancer cannot live in an alkaline body. The body must be acidic. So if you find yourself having a highly acidic diet, stop it. Or at least introduce new foods to either replace or go along with those that are very acidic to help alkalinize the body a little bit. Because the less acid you have in the body, the better. And actually, a little bit of acid is good. But it's when we have this overgrowth, this drowning the body in acid, basically. And you get it from all, the obvious things, alcohol, junk food, smoking, all these acidic, toxic things that really affect the body. Fast food, and so if you find that, maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know how acidic your body is. If so, look into it. Look into what foods help to create an acidic body and what foods help to create an alkaline body. And keep a journal. Keep a journal for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month of the things that you're eating and everything you're drinking, everything you're eating, how often, how much. And look up this information to see what could help to balance it out. Because if you have something right in the middle, I think you're pretty much in a good place. But it's when we have this drowning the body in acids and unbelievable, But most of the things that are propagated onto us create that problem. So then you end up having cancer of any kind. And I knew this person too years ago who had so many cancers based upon, she drank aspartame all the friggin' time, constant Diet Pepsi all the time. She had, I believe it was 3 different female cancers. It was uterine, cervical, and ovarian, I think. And I'm pretty sure she didn't have breast cancer, but she had 2 or 3 other cancers, female cancers. And I said to her, you need to stop with the aspartame because, one, it's incredibly chemical. It kills the body. I would attribute aspartame very greatly to the situation that my mom is in now with her multiple sclerosis, because aspartame kills motor functions. It messes up the myelin sheathing in the brain. Before she was diagnosed, whatever that means, because I trust what a doctor says about as far as I could throw the doctor, she was drinking tons of Diet Coke, tons, and chewing tons of juicy fruit, and juicy fruit is filled with aspartame. Even if you're not aware of this, even the regular gums now are filled with aspartame. You can't, I'm not 100% about like Hubba Bubba and stuff like that, because it's been years since I've touched that. I know there's definitely sugar in that. But in Trident, when I was a kid, there was not aspartame in Trident. There is now. And same with like Orbits and Dentine and all of these things. Aspartame, all the way down the line. The only one that I found so far that does not have that is Spry. And I do recommend Spry gum. I don't chew a lot of gum. I think gum's questionable for me, even if it is a healthier gum. But once in a while, if I'm having like, if I've been maybe eating too much sugar in my diet, my teeth are starting to feel a little fuzzy or whatever, I'll have a Spry gum, and it has xylitol, which is a natural sugar alcohol that occurs in the body. But above all else, I would recommend stevia in anything. So on that tangent, this is interesting. The National Institute of Drug Abuse, NIDA, says one can only study cannabis as a substance of abuse instead of a possible treatment for disease. So Dr. Donald Abrams, who is also in this film, submitted the grant to the government about studying cannabis's effects with AIDS pharmaceuticals and was allowed to do that study because he was looking to see if cannabis was harmful. So this is what's messed up, is you cannot, as a doctor or a scientist, you cannot start a study about how cannabis is beneficial. You have to do a study about how it is harmful to see if it's harmful. Do you see what I'm saying? Totally messed up. And in this study that Donald Abrams did, he found no evidence of a negative effect on the immune system, but beneficial evidence on the immune system. Cannabis relieves pain from any tissue issue. Great at treating epilepsy and migraines. Marijuana is good for depression, insomnia, appetite loss, obviously, nausea, diarrhea, Crohn's disease, MS, herniated discs, and back injuries. I can definitely vouch for that, including botched back surgeries, reducing fearful memories, post-traumatic stress disorder, ADD, Parkinson's, bipolar, everything, It helps with dealing with muscle spasms. So if you're dealing with Parkinson's or MS, the pain in muscle spasms, it helps to alleviate those. It's an anti-inflammatory. And here's a little bit of information about how it is metabolized in the body. Because again, I have these done in bullet points, not in like paragraph forms for me to just read to you. Smoking or vaporizing causes the medicine to go upstream, away from the liver. So you have unmetabolized cannabis going right to the brain, making the effect happen 15 to 30 seconds upon smoking or vaporizing. Whereas if it goes through the gastrointestinal tract via eating, which is the way that I prefer, it can take about 45 minutes before its effects are evident. But in my personal opinion, I think that is better than all of a sudden just as soon as you smoke it, you're hit. And I don't know what that feels like because I've never smoked it or vaporized it. But eating, I like the way that it feels upon eating, because eating it's an everyday thing for me. It's an everyday thing for all of us, hopefully, unless you're a breatharian, of course, you're in that practice. And that's something I would love to do. It would cut down on grocery bills. That's for friggin' sure. So, I like the idea of eating a cookie and, go about my business and write some stuff and read some stuff and maybe research something, study something. And then all of a sudden, 45 to an hour in, you go, whoa, okay, I feel very swimmy. I feel very calm. And this is also something else that I can definitely vouch for, that it is incredible because my brain, you can probably hear it when I'm talking too, because I go off in like 15 different paths at the same time sometimes. My brain tends to go like all the time. It's like the busiest highway you could think of, like multiply it by 1,000, and I know there are some of you also out there like me who are constantly thinking, questioning, creating, ideas, thoughts, feelings, it's all of this stuff. The brain is just constant. And meditation, because of that, is a little more difficult for me because I find it hard to quiet the brain. And this is why, like, when I meditate, I have to use some sort of music that I can focus on. Because otherwise I'm just going to be thinking the whole time, like, did I do that? Oh yeah, I did that. Oh, I have an idea for a project. Oh, I could do that. What if I did this with the project and then I could blah, blah, blah. Like, it's constant. It wouldn't stop. I could talk about this on the show, like constant. So that's why I have to use music when I do it. But with cannabis, it literally is like somebody walks out to the middle of the highway and puts up a big stop sign and everybody stops. And everyone just sits and patiently waits until it's time to go again. And that is a fabulous feeling for me. And if you're one of those people like me who's constant, your brain is go all the time. And because of that, in the past, I've been an insomniac, even as a child, 2 years old, I would stay up all hours of the night. I've always been a night owl. And it's more than anything because the creative ideas, number one, come to me at like 3 a.m, and number two, because I have so much going on. And that makes me sound like really mental. I'm actually a very chill person. I'm not like highly strung or anything. I'm very excitable, but I'm not really nervous. But yeah, my brain is always going. So if you're one of those people that's like that, cannabis really helps with that. It really helps to slow. And that's the other thing too. It slows time right down. You can watch something that you've watched a million times and it's 22 minutes long, but it feels like 2 hours. But the amazing thing about that, what's fascinating about that, is that while you're watching it, all the characters that you're watching, say for example, they're all doing everything at the same speed. They're all talking at the same speed. It's not like all of a sudden they're talking slow. It's not like that. It's that I find that everything is happening in the same way that it did when I watched the episode sober. But for some reason, it feels like I've been watching it for a few hours. I've had conversations on the phone with like my father that have lasted like 8 minutes. And I swear it feels like 50 minutes have gone by, 45 minutes, an hour has gone by. And I'm like, then I look at the phone afterwards and it says like 8:13 or something. I'm like, oh my God, I was only talking to him for like 8 minutes. So it slows the world right down. And this is another amazing, fascinating thing about it because it helps to calm things. And it helps to get, in a certain way, it helps to get your thoughts in order. Because like I said, if you are one of these people whose brains always go, like a crazy, crazy highway, it helps to stop things and it helps to calm it down. And then you can kind of pick one thought out of the ether and stick with that, and I find that studying is actually quite great, under the use of cannabis. Yeah, that's part of my experience. There's a little bit more, but okay. There's a little bit more of this too about the movie. Because we're kind of going back and forth here from, the medicinal stuff from this one film and my own personal experiences with particular things. So I hope that I'm not losing you on this because I know that it is a very heavy, heavy, heavy subject. I know that because it has been propagated upon us for so long, you say the word marijuana and people immediately, oh, I don't touch that, and it's, I look at these people now and it makes me